Okay, so welcome here. Today we are talking about how to choose curriculum for your family. And what's really interesting is that Hester and I took some time on our own and wrote out on our own thoughts and ideas on just some tips and insight that we would have, that we would share with people, homeschool moms, about choosing curriculum. And we came up with a lot of the same things. There was a lot of crossover. And then there also was some unique things that I would say you thought of that I did not think of. But yeah.
It was fun to take our ideas and kind of synthesize them. It's like, wow, that really filled out this vision.
Yeah, so I thought it worked really well. Anyway, so if you could just let us know that you can see us and hear us, and just let us know that you're here, that would be great. Oh, good. Yes. Hello, everybody. Jessica and Chantel, Stephanie. Awesome. That's great.
Well, it's great to be with friends. I know it's so lovely when friends show up. Okay. I think you know us by now, but I just want to make sure that if you're new and you haven't been here before, then welcome. Adrienne is a homeschooling mom of 7 children, and one of them's married, and one of them is one or two are graduated.
2 more than are graduated. Yeah,
you should know that.
Yeah.
2 are graduated, so you're still homeschooling 4 kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 of them. Yeah.
So she comes with a wealth of experience. She's that mom that you want to talk to because you're discouraged. My name is Hester Van Braden. I sort of started selling books a few years ago to some friends, and now I happen to be working full-time in my bookstore and talking about education and curriculum, and there's just nothing I would rather do. Mostly the conversations that I have with you, within the bookstore, it's so rich and it's so beautiful. So a lot of the time after I've spoken with customers or I've done some curriculum consultations, out of those conversations I will hear themes, I will hear questions. Yeah, but how do you do this? Or, yeah, but could you tell me more about this or that? And so it's my hope that as we go through these monthly curriculum conversations, we will be able to I'll be able to address a lot of your questions, because like they say, if you have that question, chances are there's a lot of other people in the room that have that question too. So this one, how to choose curriculum, is a very big question. It's not just kind of fundamental. It's what we do as homeschool moms. At the beginning of the year, we go to conferences and we research and we read articles and we talk to friends. It's a big deal. So if you came here expecting me to tell you buy this book and
there
you will
is no
be
list
happy,
of books coming your way. No,
I do not have a list. I do not have the answer for your unique family, and that is a very good thing. The reason why that's a good thing is because we're all very, very different. So it wouldn't be fair of me to prescribe something that would be a universal fix to educate all children all over the world. I think we might have seen that, we might be seeing that attempted right now with a few variations, but the reality is it's just not true. Something I heard Andrew Pudawas say once in one of his talks was that he wished that every child was considered a special needs child, not because he wished that they had conditions, but because it's somewhat true that when you have a child who is considered special needs, then the entire education system just kind of slows down for that child, and you bring in the specialists and everybody just kind of looks at that child and goes, what does this child need? How does this child learn? And if we could do that for special needs child, then why wouldn't we do that for every child? Because to some degree, every child learns differently from the other. And so if we could slow it down and look at our children and look at the unique circumstances and the context in which we are educating them, then that would help us to choose curriculum. So that's something that we're going to talk about today. I believe that God created us all differently, and He did that on purpose. It's no accident. And I believe that we are His image bearers, and as such, we're here to be educated in a way that honors and glorifies Him and that draws us closer to Him. And all of that is going to be done within a context. There is no utopia where we can escape to and become perfect God-worshipping creatures. Well, I guess that's heaven,
Right.
but we're kind of not there.
No.
So I guess we'll have to just wait until we get there.
We're definitely not there.
So on this side of heaven, we are all faced with different circumstances and different challenges and different needs. So I'm going to go through what I've selected as I think some of the top considerations of context and help you to decide and figure out what questions do you need to ask yourself, your husband or your wife, and your community so that you can assess who are you, where do you belong. The first assessment that we're going to look at is our world view, or the way we view the world. That would include, what do you believe concerning God, creation, Jesus, and His life, death, and resurrection? What is our relationship with God meant to be? And what is God's purpose for the life of the world? Those are very big questions. It's like, let's start off with the big one. Those are big ones, but it's extremely important that you would sit down, take some time, and discuss it and see if you can write down a sentence or two, boil it down, even if it is, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He sent His only begotten Son. It might be as simple as that, that's where you can boil it down to, but you do need to grapple with that, and you do need to decide what you believe. Now, I do want to put in a qualifier here. We often speak to a Christian audience, but we do not speak to a Christian audience exclusively. I know there are a lot of you out there who are not Christian, and yet you do value a lot of the things that we teach and the books that we read. And so I want to make sure that you feel included in this, because these are questions that you need to ask yourself as well. Maybe your question isn't, what do I believe about God? Where it actually could be that, but maybe there's another question that you need to ask yourself. What is your view about the world? What do you believe the purpose of mankind is? So this is not something that I would say only Christians can do this. Absolutely not. This is a universal truth. So if you're not a Christian, still, please hang in there with me, because I believe that every single one of these questions needs to be answered by your family as well.
Yeah.
So take some time to do that, to answer those questions and have discussions within your family. That could be some interesting discussions.
Well, and I think too, it'll save you time later, because if you've narrowed some of your thoughts down, then when you get to a curriculum on the shelf that doesn't match that, you can just, nope, that's not going to work.
You can happily eliminate it.
You can just eliminate it, and I don't know, the time that you spend up front, I think, will help you with time and frustration and pondering later. Yeah.
It's so true. Yeah. And then that's kind of the purpose of these questions.
Yeah.
There is an overwhelming body of curriculum out there. You will never end. It will never cease. And so how are you going to do that? How are you going to eliminate? And this is our process of elimination.
Yeah.
So the first one is worldview. And then after, what I would suggest is after each heading, what we could do, you could write down questions you need to ask your family. And then I would suggest that you would include a line in there and just write down assessment that will influence curriculum. And under that header, write down what your conclusions are. So I know for a lot of people, when it comes to worldview, they believe in God created the world in 6 days. And so for them, if a curriculum does not present that as an ultimate truth, it's just not an